I used to shine. Oh, how I used to shine. My surface, once polished to perfection, caught the light in a way that made people stop and stare. I was a symbol of love, of commitment, of forever. I was placed on her finger with trembling hands and a heart full of promises. I remember the warmth of her skin, the way her pulse beat against me, steady and strong. I was alive in those moments, a part of something bigger than myself. But now, I lie here, forgotten. Dust gathers on my once pristine surface, and the velvet lining of this jewelry box has become my prison. The darkness is suffocating, and the silence is deafening. I can no longer feel the warmth of her hand or hear the laughter that used to fill the air. I am cold, abandoned, and alone. I wasn't always like this. I remember the day I was chosen. He walked into the store, nervous and unsure, but determined. His eyes scanned the rows of rings until they landed on me. There was a spark in his gaze, a certainty that I was the one. He picked me up, held me to the light, and smiled. "This is it," he said. "This is the one." I was there when he proposed, his voice shaking as he asked her to spend forever with him. I felt the tears that fell on me as she said yes, her joy radiating through her fingertips. I was there on their wedding day, when they exchanged vows and promised to love each other through thick and thin. I was there for the late-night conversations, the quiet moments of comfort, and the laughter that echoed through their home. But something changed. It wasn't sudden. It was gradual, like the fading of a sunset. The laughter became less frequent, the conversation shorter. I noticed the way her hand would linger on me, as if she was questioning my presence. And then, one day, she took me off, just like that. No explanation, no ceremony. She placed me in this box, closed the lid, and walked away. I've been here ever since, trying to make sense of it all. What happened to the love I was meant to symbolize? Where did it go? Did it fade away, like the light at the end of the day? Or was it something more, something deeper? I've heard snippets of conversations muffled through the walls of this box. I've heard her voice, softer now, tinged with sadness. I've heard him too, his tone heavier, burdened. They don't laugh like they used to. They don't talk like they used to. It's as if the connection they once had has been severed, and I am the casualty of their unraveling. But I refuse to believe that this is the end. I refuse to believe that love can simply disappear. It has to be here, somewhere, buried beneath the hurt and the pain. I hold on to the hope that one day she will open this box, take me out, and slip me back onto her finger. That one day they will find their way back to each other, and I will once again be a part of their story. Until then, I wait. I wait in the darkness, holding on to the memories of what once was and the hope of what could be. I may be just a ring, but I am so much more than that. I am a symbol of love, of commitment, of forever. And I am not ready to give up, not yet. I don't know how long I've been here. Days, months, years. Time feels different in the dark. It stretches and folds in on itself, like an endless loop of nothingness. But even in this silence, I've learned to listen, to feel, to notice the subtle vibrations of life outside this box. Sometimes I hear her footsteps. They're lighter than they used to be, hesitant, as if she's carrying a weight she doesn't know how to put down. Other times, I hear the scrape of a chair, the clink of a coffee cup, or the faint hum of music she plays when she thinks no one is listening. It's always the same song, a slow, melancholic tune that seems to echo the ache in her heart. I wonder if it's the same ache I feel, lying here, forgotten. And then there are the arguments. They don't happen often, but when they do, they cut through the silence like a blade. His voice rises, sharp and frustrated, while hers trembles, trying to hold steady but cracking under the weight of it all. I can't make out the words, but I can feel the pain in them, the way they linger in the air long after the shouting stops. It's in those moments that I realize how fragile everything has become. But there are other moments, too. Softer ones. Like the time I heard her laugh, really laugh, for the first time in what felt like forever. It was a small, fleeting sound, but it was enough to remind me of the woman she used to be. The woman who wore me with pride, who twirled me around her finger absent-mindedly as she talked about her dreams and plans for the future. I wonder if she remembers that version of herself. I wonder if she misses her as much as I do. One day, the box opened. The sudden flood of light was blinding, and for a moment, I thought it was finally happening. That she had remembered me. That she was going to slip me back onto her finger and everything would be okay again. But her hand hesitated, hovering over me before pulling away. She didn't pick me up. Instead, she closed the box again, leaving me in the dark once more. Why did she hesitate? Was it guilt, regret, or something else entirely? I replay that moment over and over in my mind, trying to make sense of it. I wish I could speak to her, to tell her that it's not too late. That love doesn't have to be perfect to be real. That even the most tarnished things can shine again with a little care. I think about him, too. I wonder if he ever thinks about me, about what I meant to him when he first chose me. Does he regret the promises he made? Or does he still hold on to them, even if they feel out of reach? I wish I could remind him of the way he looked at her on their wedding day, the way his hands trembled as he slid me onto her finger. I wish I could tell him that love is worth fighting for, even when it feels like the fight is already lost. The days blur together, but I hold on to hope. Hope that one day she will open this box again and see me not as a relic of the past, but as a reminder of what could still be. Hope that they will find their way back to each other, that they will remember the love that brought them together in the first place. Hope that I will once again feel the warmth of her skin and the steady beat of her pulse. Until then, I wait. I wait in the darkness, holding on to the memories of what once was and the hope of what could be. Because that's what love is, isn't it? It's not just the shiny, perfect moments. It's the waiting, the hoping, the believing that even in the darkest times, there is still a chance for light. And I am not ready to give up. Not yet. One day, the box opened again. This time it felt different. Her hands didn't hesitate. They reached for me, trembling slightly, as if unsure of what they were about to do. I felt her fingers wrap around me, lifting me out of the darkness and into the light. The dust that had settled on me was brushed away, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, I could breathe again. She held me up to the light, turning me over in her fingers. I could see her face now, and it was different from the one I remembered. There were lines around her eyes, shadows beneath them, and a sadness that hadn't been there before. But there was something else, too. Something softer, more vulnerable. She looked at me as if I held the answers to questions she didn't know how to ask. And then she did something I didn't expect. She slipped me onto her finger. The fit was the same, but the feeling was different. Her hand was colder now, her pulse slower, but I could still feel it, the faint, steady rhythm of life. It was as if she was testing me, trying to remember what it felt like to wear me, to carry the weight of what I symbolized. I stayed there for hours, maybe longer, as she went about her day. I felt the warmth of her coffee cup, the softness of her sweater, the way her fingers tapped against the table as she thought. It was as if she was trying to reconnect with a part of herself she had forgotten, a part that I had always been tied to. Later that evening, I heard his voice. It was softer than I remembered, hesitant, as if he wasn't sure he was welcome. She didn't say much, but I could feel the tension in the air, the unspoken words hanging between them. And then something shifted. He noticed me. His eyes widened slightly, and for a moment he just stared. "You're wearing it," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. She nodded, her fingers brushing against me. "I found it today," she said. "I don't know why, but I just felt like I needed to." He sat down across from her, his hands clasped together on the table. "I've missed that ring," he said. "I've missed us." The silence that followed was heavy, but it wasn't empty. It was filled with all the things they wanted to say but didn't know how. And then, slowly, they began to talk. Not about the past, not about the pain, but about the little things, the things that had once brought them together. The way she still loved the smell of rain. The way he still couldn't cook to save his life. The way they both missed the sound of each other's laughter. As the night went on, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Warmth. Not just the warmth of her skin, but the warmth of hope. It was fragile, like a flickering flame, but it was there. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I believed that maybe, just maybe, they could find their way back to each other. I am still here, on her finger, where I belong. I don't know what the future holds, but I know this. Love is not perfect. It is messy and complicated and sometimes painful. But it is also resilient. It can bend without breaking, fade without disappearing, and endure even in the darkest of times. I am a wedding ring. I am a symbol of love, of commitment, of forever. And now, I am a part of their story once more.